What's up, guys? Vincent here from Hidden Gems again, this time with the artist George Harrison and his solo debut, the album All Things Must Pass. Was interested in this one because George Harrison was always regarded as the one that had the potential to become what Paul McCartney and John Lennon were in the Beatles, but was pretty much pushed aside and was given songs here and there to either sing or songs here and there to write about. So with this album, this was pretty much him coming out of the breakup and releasing all the songs that he wanted to release with the Beatles but were rejected, and he went ahead and did his own thing on this record. With this record, a lot of these songs are either about religion, which is a good amount from what I could tell, is mostly these songs were about religion. He had a couple things about broken friendships and lost loves and trying to find love and trying to find your person. But again, the main theme for this album from when I listened to it was religion and what he was going through at the time. Phil Spector did help produce this record as well, and he used his very famous technique, the wall of sound, in a lot of these songs. Some of the wall of sounds parts fit well, some of them didn't, but overall, thought it was a good album. For side one was probably the best one to listen to if you have it on Spotify because it's breaking down into two parts, side one and side two. So I'd recommend listening to side one all the way through. But this is Hidden Gems, so I'm going to break it down for you and let you know which songs I think are the best ones off the record. So for this record, he didn't have that many singles. He only had a few. Some of them were the two songs put together and then later on released as a single by itself. But going through it, the singles I liked the most was Isn't It a Pity and What Is Life. Isn't It a Pity is mostly about the Beatles falling apart. Love the instrumentation here with the backing solo guitar throughout the song, and Phil Spector's wall of sound added a layer to the instrumentation as well. And you can just tell that George Harrison was upset with how everything ended, and this is pretty much his song about the last couple albums or even the last couple months of the Beatles and how you can tell that it was over from the inside out. The second single was What Is Life. If you put on this song, you're going to recognize it from pretty much any movie out there. I feel like the song is used a lot in movies, just here and there. Can't really think of any movies offhand, but when you hear the song, you're like, oh, I've heard this song before, either from a movie or possibly off the radio. Really, really good song. Back and forth here and there with the noises. Can barely hear George Harrison sing, which is the irritating part for me throughout this record, was that it seemed like his vocals were on the wayside. It was more about the instrumentation. So you'll notice that throughout, but What Is Life, you'll really notice that where you try to like just hear the lyrics and it's kind of difficult, but when you do hear him singing, it's a great push through and a great song with that. And also the recording featured Eric Clapton as well, along with the entire Delaney and Bonnie band as well, the band that Eric Clapton used here and there. So those are the two singles I like the most, Isn't It a Pity and What Is Life. The hidden gems for me was Wah Wah. Like the song a lot just because of the lyrical content. It was kind of like a diss track to Paul McCartney about how he was treating George Harrison by the end of the Beatles for Let It Be and how he's nitpicking him on his guitar parts, how he thought the parts weren't fitting. So really liked how smooth it was and just that part of it being, I guess a diss track is a bit aggressive, especially for George Harrison, but kind of saying like Paul was being mean to him and this is how I feel about it. Like the whole slide guitar solo, the bass part was really good in this song as well, and love the energy on the song as well. So that was the one I liked the most right off the bat. Next song, Let It Down. You can feel Harrison on this song as well. This is kind of his, I want to say, marriage awakening from what you can hear and the way people have interpreted the song. It was like he just came out of that religious experience where it's love all things. So when he came back, he had issues with his marriage because he started seeing someone else at the same time and going back and forth, and him knowing that he can't do this because of the marriage and what he wants to do because of his religious beliefs was like a struggle back and forth. It was really well presented, and the wall of sound was actually really used correctly in this song, just between verse and chorus. So like the verse would have its own sound, and then the wall of sound would come in for the choruses, and you can feel the breakup. And George Harrison's energy on here was awesome in here as well. Really like this track as well off that record. Next one I liked was Run of the Mill. Song about being undervalued in the Beatles. There are mentions of it being said that Paul and John will say this is just another run of the mill song, like kind of average, not that great. They didn't want to put on the record. They had better stuff to put on the record. But loved how straightforward it is, and just loved how simple it was as well. Just a straightforward song with the wall of sound coming in at the end. So at the beginning, it's got just a normal George Harrison rock field, and you got this wall of sound at the end from Phil Spector to close it out. Next song I liked is If Not For You. When reading about this song, it sounds like Bob Dylan and George Harrison wrote it together, but then Bob Dylan released it on his own, so he has his own version, and then George Harrison released his version as well. So really starts out with just a few instruments, then it progressively starts to build. Harrison's vocals on this song, If Not For You, was awesome as well. Just a nice little track here, and then again with the slide guitar part on this song as well. So a theme that you'll hear throughout the record is slide guitar. Feel like that's what George Harrison wanted to do a lot of in the Beatles, but possibly was told, no, you can't do that. So a lot of this record has a lot of slide guitar either on the back end or just as like the solo part. But here, the slide guitar was really good for the song, If Not For You. And then my last hidden gem is I Live For You. So this could be interpreted as a religious song or a love song, like you're trying to find the loved one that makes you want to live life every day. So again, a lot of the themes are religious, but this one is kind of open into interpretation. For this song, I felt like it was more about finding a love out there for you, finding the person for you. So really enjoyed this track. Another cool slide guitar part, and it just felt like this was a song that went back to basics, just more of an acoustic song, more up front, and more of just an ensemble of just him and some instruments instead of having the wall of sound and a bunch of other instruments going. It was just a very upfront song. So to recap, singles I like the most on this one is Isn't It a Pity and What Is Life. Hidden gems were Wah Wah, Let It Down. Those two were my favorite. Run of the Mill, If Not For You, and Live For You. As always, comment with any questions or comment with any other artists you want to see me dive into and give like a little breakdown to. Like the video, subscribe as well if you want to keep getting some updates from me in regards to more videos coming out. So again, this was a video regarding George Harrison, All Things Must Pass. I'll leave all the notes at the bottom of the description. So again, like the video, leave any comments, and subscribe for more updates. Thanks, guys.